Hello and a very good morning. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the headlines this Tuesday morning. Spain, France and several other countries launched tax evasion probe after the Panama Papers leak. US reviewing documents. India sets up multi-agency group probe after 500 Indian names figure in the list. RBI's first bi-monthly policy review today. Finance Minister's pictures for rates cuts. Centre tells Supreme Court it does not back demand for minority status for the Aligarh Muslim University. Apex Court gives 8 weeks time to file application of withdrawal. West Bengal records 81%, Assam 80% voter turnout as both sides wrap up first phase of over month-long poll process in 5 states. And India reacts sharply to US President Barack Obama's statement on concerns over nuclear proliferation in subcontinent, says remark indicates lack of understanding of India's defense posture. And the top story this morning, the Panama Papers, a list of offshore accounts, have sent shockwaves among the rich and the powerful across the world. Being described as the world's biggest leak, these documents have also taken India by storm. At least 500 top-shot Indians figure in the list, including film stars and well-known industrialists. The government has welcomed the expose, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi immediately directing a multi-agency monitoring group to be set up to thoroughly probe the secret list put out in public domain by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. The reverberations of the Panama leaks were felt in the corridors of power in Delhi. The papers include names of at least 500 Indians, mostly the rich and the famous, some of them with high political connections. Taking cognizance of what's been described as the world's biggest leak, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself ordered an investigation into the report. A team of experts on tax and foreign exchange transactions has been set up to thoroughly probe the flow of information in each one of the cases.
We have constituted a multi-agency group to monitor all the information and to collect further information in this regard. That multi-agency group will comprise of various government agencies which deal with this subject, the CBDT, the FIU, the FT and TR, as also the representatives of the Reserve Bank. They will continuously monitor these, and whichever accounts are found to be unlawful, strict action as per existing law is going to be taken against them.
The Panama Papers list boasts of prominent names from the film industry like megastar Amitabh Bachchan, his daughter-in-law Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, a former Miss World, billionaire property baron and DLF owner Kushal Pal Singh, billionaire real estate magnate Sameer Gehlot, and industrialist Gautam Adani's brother Vinod Adani. 2 politicians, Shishir Bajoria from West Bengal and Anurag Kejriwal, the former chief of the Delhi unit of the Lok Satta party, also figure in the list. The revelations claim that these high-profile people used a law firm in Panama to set up offshore entities in tax havens across the world. Officers of these individuals have termed the Panama leaks baseless and untrue. Now, in the wake of the Panama bombshell, political pressure is also mounting on the government.
This gives an indication why for 2 years the promise made by the Prime Minister during the election campaign that all the black money will be unearthed, and he claimed then that we know whose accounts are where and all that money will come. And if you remember, all of us were promised 15 lakhs into our accounts. But for 2 years nothing has happened.
मामला बहुत गंभीर है। सरकार ने काले धन को वापस लाने का वादा किया था, प्रधानमंत्री ने स्वयं किया था, तो इसकी जांच करना सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है।
With regard to the legality or the illegality of the action of these entities. So therefore, the question of legality and illegality in the case of each transaction would have to be gone into, whether somebody has broken the extant laws of the land or has done something which the law allows. So therefore, this is an issue which needs to be looked at extremely carefully.
The Panama leaks come at a time when the Special Investigation Team on Black Money, headed by former Supreme Court Judge M.B. Shah, is finalizing its new action taken report. In fact, the formation of the SIT was the very first decision taken by the Narendra Modi government in May 2014, soon after it came to power. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So the Panama Papers have whipped up a storm not only in India but across the world as well. The list names political leaders, sports figures and influential personalities across the globe. Panama's government has pledged to vigorously cooperate with any legal probe that might be launched in the wake of the data leak.
Elected leaders and top officials from around the world are issuing denials and are outraged at allegations that they used secret offshore companies and accounts to hide billions of dollars. Among the biggest names that figure in the list are friends and family of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Though President Putin's name does not appear, the list shows his friends have earned millions from deals that seemingly could not have been secured without his patronage. The Kremlin has dismissed the allegations as a series of fib, while many Russians say Putin will not be affected by the offshore deals allegations.
В России обнаружились счета и компании, которые принадлежали одному из ближайших друзей Владимира Путина. И, в общем-то, та совокупность доказательств, которые нашли журналисты в этих документах, говорят о том, что эти офшоры могли быть связаны с Владимиром Путиным.
Meanwhile, the family of Pak PM Nawaz Sharif also figures in the list. While Nawaz's family remained defiant, opposition leader Imran Khan issued a swift call for action against him after the release. He said our stance is vindicated again as Sharif's wealth stashed abroad is exposed. The country's accountability watchdog, tax authorities and election commission must take action.
Family members जो हैं वो आज से नहीं एक तवील अरसा से मुल्क से बाहर हैं. हम में से भी बहुत सौ के family members जो हैं वो बाहर के मुल्कों में मुलाजमत भी करते हैं, कारोबार भी करते हैं, सनत भी लगाते हैं. तो इसमें कोई अजीब बात नहीं है, कोई गैर कानूनी काम उन बच्चों ने नहीं किया.
Iceland's Prime Minister Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson is expected to face a no-confidence vote this week over allegations that he used a secret offshore firm to hide millions of dollars in the British Virgin Islands. He walked out of an interview when he was questioned on his offshore links. But he insisted that he and his wife have scrupulously followed the law. Other governments, however, have started acting on the information. The UK, France, Australia and Mexico have pledged to investigate for possible cases of tax evasion. French President François Hollande thanked the whistleblowers for revealing the names, adding that all the information revealed will lead to investigation brought out by the tax authorities and to legal proceedings. Germany demanded transparency from Panama after the papers leak.
Das, was wir gestern Abend erfahren haben, das kommt ja nicht völlig überraschend. Und auch wenn Deutschland nicht im Fokus steht, so ist es doch klar, dass das jetzt Diskussion, dass es weitere Bewegung in eine Diskussion bringen wird, die wir ja schon sehr intensiv führen.
The documents go back decades and reference 12 current or former world leaders as well as 128 other politicians and public officials. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And back home, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Stand Up India initiative today in Noida. The Prime Minister will distribute e-rickshaws under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana on the occasion. UP Governor Ram Nayak, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Union Minister of State for Culture and Tourism Dr. Mahesh Sharma and Union Minister of State for Finance as well, Jayant Sinha, will be present on the occasion. The Stand Up India initiative is aimed at promoting entrepreneurship among the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and women by facilitating loans in the range of 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees. Each branch of a scheduled commercial bank will facilitate at least 2 such loans. A web portal will also be launched for the initiative to enable online registration and support services. Prime Minister will flag off 5,100 e-rickshaws on the occasion. He will also interact with the beneficiaries besides inaugurating a Kaushal Vikas Kendra. And now time for our election-related news in our special segment, Verdict 2016. So nearly 80% voting was recorded in Assam's 65 assembly constituencies, which went to the polls on Monday, deciding the fate of 539 candidates. Several heavyweights, including Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi and the BJP CM candidate Sarbanand Sonowal's fate was also sealed. More in this report.
The first of the two-phase Assam Assembly election began at 7 a.m. on Monday amid tight security, with 65 of the state's total 126 constituencies going to the polls. An electorate of over 95 lakh, including 46 lakh women, were eligible to exercise their franchise in 12,190 polling booths to decide the fate of 539 candidates. As many as 1,241 polling stations were identified as critical polling stations, 1,992 as hypersensitive and 3,739 as sensitive. Security was tightened across the state, with the Indo-Bangla border along the Barak Valley's Karimganj district being sealed. In all, 535 companies of the security forces were deployed in the 65 constituencies. Out of them, 433 companies were central forces and 102 from the state police. The first phase witnessed mostly a direct contest between the ruling Congress and the BJP-AGP-BPF alliance, though the AIUDF put up candidates in 27 constituencies. The Congress is contesting all 65 constituencies, the BJP 54 and its alliance partners AGP in 11 and BPF in 3. The AIUDF, another important contender, has put up candidates in 27, while the CPI and CPIM in 10 each. The CPI-MLL in 6, along with 60 others of unrecognized parties and 13 independents.
I voted for the first time and I'm very happy. This is a very important thing to do, and I wish everybody do it. And it's my vote and I decide.
This election has difference. It is not a wave. It is a very sincere election. Last 15 years, everybody will wanted to change the whole picture of the government policy.
Prominent Congress candidates in the fray were Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi from Tithabur, Speaker of the outgoing Assembly Pranab Gogoi from Shivsagar, and former Union Minister and prominent T-Tribe leader Pavan Singh Gathovar.
People want a change. I also want change. Assam should be go faster development, provide employment also. Everybody wants change. Who wants to remain static? I am fighting not against center. I want to cooperate with the center, but Modi's injustice. So long he will go on denying. So long he will go do injustice. I will fight against injustice, not against central.
The BJP star candidates in the first phase include Union Minister and party's Chief Ministerial candidate Sarbananda Sonowal from Majoli and Jorhat Lok Sabha MP Kamakya Prasad Tasa from Tithabur.
It is a unique place in the state of Assam, and that's why, but they have a lot of problems, difficulties, the lack of communication infrastructure facilities, and many where they're deprived of the modern growth. So in the near future, we'll have to take all possible measures to make Majuli growth, develop, and also visible in the map of the world.
While the Congress looks forward to retaining power for the fourth successive term, the BJP has called for a parivartan to usher in development. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And West Bengal saw nearly 81% voter turnout. 18 constituencies spread across 3 western districts of West Midnapur, Bankura and Purulia went to polls amid tight security. More details in this report.
18 constituencies of West Bengal Assembly went to polls on Monday. The constituencies are in the Jungle Mahal area and the Maoist-affected districts of Purulia, West Midnapur and Bankura. Polling booths opened amid tight security at 7 a.m. in the 18 constituencies, 9 in Purulia district, 3 in Bankura and 6 in West Midnapur. A multi-layered security ring was put in place around the constituencies to ensure free and fair polling.
वोट जरूरी है हमारे लिए, देश के लिए जो अच्छा काम करेगा, जो अच्छा ही करेगा, उसके लिए वोट जरूरी है।
हाँ दिया, ये इधर वोट दिया, किंतु हमको तो कोई सुविधा नहीं मिलता है। हाँ, सरकार से सुविधा चाहिए हम लोग को।
An electorate of 41 lakh were eligible to exercise their franchise in 4,945 polling booths to decide the fate of 133 candidates in 18 constituencies. 172 companies of the Central Paramilitary Forces were pressed into action to ensure smooth polling. Voting began at 7 a.m. in all the 18 constituencies and came to an end at 4 p.m. in West Midnapur and Bankura and went out at 6 p.m. in Purulia. Among major candidates in the fray are State Minister Sukumar Hansa of the Trinamool Congress from Jhargram and CPIM's Pulin Bihari Bhaske contesting from Gopi Ballabpur.
In our electoral system, the vote is an important thing. So we have to give vote so that we can we can choose the candidate who will go to the Vidhan Sabha and they will represent us.
There will be 6 more days of polling for the 294 assembly seats in the state. The last day of polling is on May 5th. Counting of votes will take place on the 19th of May. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And soon after Assam witnessed polls, an IED blast near a BJP office in the Goalpara district of Assam left 2 people dead and over 20 injured. The explosive was reportedly placed in a bag on the footpath, exploded, causing panic, after which the police cordoned off the area. Suspected Ulfa militants carried out the explosion, which also injured 21 others, including 4 policemen. The injured were taken to the hospital, where the condition of 14 was stated to be critical. The blast took place after Assam had a peaceful polling with nearly 81% voter turnout in the first phase of polling for 65 of the 126 assembly constituencies. Goalpara is among the 61 constituencies going to polls in the second phase on the 11th. And some more election-related stories in this quick election wrap. The Congress High Command has announced a list of 83 candidates for the Kerala Assembly elections. Chief Minister Oomen Chandi, Home Minister Ramesh Chennithala and former Chief Minister K. Karunakaran's son K. Muralidharan figure in the list. Rahul Gandhi leaves a clear imprint on the list, with several names of young leaders also being included. Kerala Congress M, the third largest constituent in the ruling United Democratic Front, has announced its candidates for the 16th May Assembly elections. The party will contest 15 seats and all party MLAs will contest from their sitting seats. While party leader K.K. Mani will contest from his stronghold Pala, its lone representative in the government P.J. Joseph will seek mandate from Thozapuzza. AIADMK has named candidates for 227 seats for the 16th May elections. The list indicates AIADMK virtually going it alone by leaving only 7 seats for smaller allies. Jayalalitha also announced that she would be seeking re-election from R.K. Nagar. BJP President Amit Shah, who is campaigning for the assembly elections in Assam, will address 4 public meetings in the state. He will first hold meetings in Nalbari and Dharampur. He is slated to address meetings also in Palashbari and Mangaldai later in the day. Time for a short break here on Breakfast News. We'll be right back.
From 91 onwards, we're a much more open economy, and we've benefited from it.
We made a mistake because we should have first had a GST in place.
I mean, an effort was made to put GST in place 5 years ago. What is the lesson? The lesson is, let's get it done now. The entrepreneurs very often come to the bank in a Fiat in order to get a loan. Yeah. And then when they need it to be restructured, they come on a Mercedes.
Watch Montek Ahluwalia articulate his views on state of the economy, only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Thanks for staying with us on Breakfast News. Now, RBI will unveil its first bi-monthly policy review for this fiscal today, amid expectations of a 0.25 to 0.50% cut in interest rates to boost industrial growth and economy. At its 6th and fiscal's final bi-monthly monetary policy review in February, RBI kept its key lending rate unchanged at 6.75%. RBI Chief Raghuram Rajan is now expected to cut interest rates by at least 0.25 percentage point on the back of the union budget. Meanwhile, a day ahead of the review, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley pitched for easier monetary policy. He argued that high interest rates can make the economy sluggish. Addressing the CII annual session, Jaitley said that the government had stuck to fiscal deficit commitments and kept inflation under control. He hoped that the movement would continue in order to make the economy more competitive with more competitive interest rates. The Finance Minister also stressed that the debate on crucial economic issues like interest rates should move in the right direction in India. Jaitley also said that issues of persons who depend on interest income like retired professionals could be addressed by pension funds.
It's extremely important that we continue the pace of change and reform so that at a time when growth returns to the rest of the world, it will only accelerate the point where we've reached at the present moment. If in adverse circumstances India can maintain its present rates of growth, when growth returns to the rest of the world, to expedite that process should not be very challenging as far as India is concerned.
The Congress party has denied reports that it is trying to block the proposed goods and services tax bill. Senior party leader Anand Sharma said that there are some genuine concerns that have been raised by the party regarding the bill. He said that the party's concerns are over issues of surcharge, inbuilt dispute redressal mechanism and a realistic cap on the proposed tax. He, however, said that the opposition will have a meeting point with the government over the issue. Sharma also added that the centre's engagement with the opposition cannot be over passage of one bill alone. Prime Minister Modi, during his visit to Saudi Arabia recently, had told investors that the GST was about to happen and that they can look forward to an easier business environment and stable tax regime in India.
The engagement with the opposition, the Prime Minister or of the ruling party, cannot be restricted to the passage or otherwise of one single bill pending before Parliament. Secondly, the concerns were about the surcharge, the absence of dispute redressal mechanism. There are 4 big windows they have kept out. And also, what about the cap? And the cap has to be legally ring-fenced. That is where it is stuck. We have to find a solution. Now, we are not engaging in a partisan opposition, unlike the BJP and Prime Minister himself when they were in opposition.
Moving on, the centre has taken a view opposite to that of the previous UPA government in the Supreme Court over the Aligarh Muslim University issue. The centre has told the Apex Court that it does not favour minority institution tag for the AMU, as it would override the verdict of a constitution bench that held it as a central university. The centre, though, through the Attorney General, in fact, informed the court that it will not support the AMU in challenging the Allahabad High Court verdict, holding the university as a non-minority institution. An appeal was filed against this order by the Manmohan Singh regime in 2006 in the Apex Court. The Apex Court now has given the centre 8 weeks' time to file an application along with an affidavit to withdraw the appeal filed by it. The court also allowed the AMU to file a counter affidavit to the centre's stand. The matter has been posted for hearing after the summer vacation.
Deeply disappointed. I can understand why this government is doing this for very narrow ideological positions that they hold. But I think that there is also a fundamental lack of understanding about our constitutional values. And I think that this is really sad. I think that this has to be contested vigorously, and this has to be resisted vigorously.
See, as far as Aligarh Muslim University is concerned, this is a legal and a technical issue and has to be seen through the prism of legality, not through rhetorics of politics. In 1967, a constitution bench of the Supreme Court in the famous Aziz Bhasha versus the Union of India had stated that the Aligarh Muslim University was established by an act of the parliament in 1920, and that's the reason as to why it cannot have a minority tag.
And in some news from Bihar now, the RJD has inducted its controversial former MP Mohammad Shahabuddin into the party's new national executive, triggering a political storm. Shahabuddin has been in jail for over a decade for charges including kidnapping and murder. The move has triggered a political slugfest, with the opposition BJP slamming the government for giving protection to strongmen in the state. His return is being cited by the BJP as another sign of worsening law and order situation in Bihar since Nitish Kumar and Lalu Yadav came together to form a government after last year's election. RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad on Monday released the names of 77 members of the National Committee of the party that included former Siwan Lok Sabha MP and Mussalman Mohammad Shahabuddin. Shahabuddin was granted bail from the Patna High Court just last week in a case related to the killing of 2 brothers by drenching them in acid 12 years ago. The RJD, however, justified its decision, saying the ex-MP's appeals are pending in higher courts and that it was up to the party to decide whom to induct or exclude. Former Bihar Chief Minister Rabri Devi also pointed out that there are several tainted BJP MPs as well as MLAs who are still members of their party.
पहले अपना गुंडा का संहारा ना बीजेपी अपना गुंडा को इस्तीफा दिलवाने का काम करे। अमित शाह किस हक पर बैठे हुए हैं, किस हैसियत से बैठे हुए हैं अमित शाह के इस्तीफा दिलवाना।
पार्टी का मामला है और राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी जो पार्टी के पदाधिकारी लोग हैं, जो प्रदेश अध्यक्ष हैं, राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं, जो उनका निर्णय है वो सर्वोपरि होगा और इसमें हम लोग की क्या राय हो सकती है।
अब नीतीश कुमार को बताना चाहिए कि उनके सहयोगी दल की राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी में एक सजा याफ्ता एक अपराधी उनके राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी का सदस्य है, तो ऐसी स्थिति में बिहार में कानून का राज कैसे कायम होगा।
And moving on to Jammu and Kashmir now, an avalanche warning has been issued for higher areas of the state. An advisory reporting medium danger avalanche warning was issued for areas above 3,500 meters altitude of Gandarbal and Kargil districts of the state. The advisory was issued by the Snow and Avalanche Study Establishment, which comes under the Ministry of Defence. The weather release said Dras had received fresh snowfall, while Banihal Top, Gulmarg and Farkian had received rainfall in the last 24 hours. People have been advised not to venture in these areas until 5 p.m. today. And in the other big news of the day, India has reacted critically to US President Barack Obama's comments, asking it to reduce its nuclear arsenal. The Foreign Ministry has said that Obama's statement indicates there seems to be a lack of understanding of the country's defense posture. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Vikas Swarup also said conventionally India, which has a no first use nuclear weapons policy, has never initiated military action against any neighbor. Obama had, during the Nuclear Security Summit last week, said that India and Pakistan's nuclear proliferation is an area of concern and that both countries need to make progress in reducing their arsenal.
The other area where I think we need to see progress is Pakistan and India, that subcontinent, making sure that as they develop military doctrines, that they are not continually moving in the wrong direction.
And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.